Welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Financial Services and Banking campaign. I'm Rachel Hicks. A major market correction is overdue. A large number of your clients will be seriously upset, whereas others barely notice. A wealth manager's worst nightmare, yet reality. With the same loss, one client may feel as being seriously left out of pocket, while another perceives it as just a blip that can be easily rectified. Protecting your assets and client satisfaction is paramount, as is proving the value of your service. Should wealth advisors simply make low-risk, low-return products for anxious investors off the shelf? Or can they, having learnt more about the client's behaviour patterns, suggest investments with better yields, while gradually coaching them to take minor market setbacks in their stride? Today we've invited Greg Davis of behavioural finance software provider Oxford Risk, author of Behavioural Investment Management and founder of the banking world's first behavioural finance team, to discuss how behavioural science can help fine-tune investment decisions. He'll also tell us about how human advisors and algorithms can work hand in hand to manage the increasing complexity of the job. Welcome to the studio. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Now, tell me, what is behavioural finance and what can it bring to the table, for example, with wealth management?
Well, behavioural finance can best be thought of as a field that studies human financial decision-making. And in doing so, it combines behavioural psychology with finance theory. And it asks, how do people actually go about making financial decisions? And perhaps more crucially, how do we help people make better financial decisions?
So how does considering an investor's peace of mind, for example, make the wealth investor's job more complex? Because it's another layer they have to consider.
Reading the finance textbook and coming up with, here's the answer of what you should do in this situation, one size fits all, fine, done. We know how to do it. If an advisor then has to, in addition, think, what is it about this solution that's going to make this particular client uncomfortable? How are they likely to behave when the markets start getting jittery? How likely are they to stick with this solution through the whole journey? It requires advisors to go a layer deeper. It requires them to be holding a lot more information in their heads. And that's just difficult. It is a complex thing to do.
So what else adds to the complexity?
Increased financial regulation, increased complexity and sophistication of the products that are available to people, the solutions that are available, the increased amount of information and data that we have around us. If an advisor is going to keep track of all of that, they have to juggle a lot of moving parts in their head. They have to be doing a lot of data processing. And these are things that we as humans are bad at. We need tools that synthesize the behavioral and the financial in a logical way and say, as a result, here is what you should do differently.
So how can decision support software, I imagine a little bit like you've just been talking about, help support an investment advisor?
Well, I think about it in the same way as technology supports doctors in a medical environment. What we are providing here is a diagnostic system that helps helps the advisor to understand the individual circumstances and how they're evolving over time, and helps them to make better decisions with their clients as a result.
So what's the division of labour like between the human advisors and the algorithms?
We don't want the machine making the decision for us. We want the machine telling us what the range of sensible options is, and then the discussion with the advisor and the client helps them to go that final stage of, now that I know very clearly who I am, what I've got, what I need to do, where I'm going, that information can be used as part of a discussion, and the advisor and the client and the investor can jointly decide, now what do we do about it? The humans can now focus on the things that humans are good at, having the conversation, the empathy, the relationship, the ability to deal with the ambiguity in the situation. We no longer have humans trying to do the stuff that, frankly, machines are better at, which is the data processing.
So tell us about Oxford Risk's solution.
Well, our solution is there to do the diagnosis. It is a very quick tool that enables us to assess three aspects of who the end investor is: who they are, So psychometric tool that assesses their financial personality along multiple dimensions. What they've got, so a fact find tool that helps to map out their whole balance sheet. What are your investable assets? Do you have a house? Do you have a mortgage against a house? To map that out very quickly and keep track of that information. And to map out what you want. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are the things you want to spend money on in the future? What are you investing for? And then the algorithm underneath takes all of that information, processes it, and produces a guidance report for the advisor to say, here's what you should be thinking about doing with regards to investing for this client, given the totality of what we know about their holistic situation.
So imagine I am a wealth advisor and you've won me over and I'm using your software and I'm delivering a much more personalised investment plan to my client. What steps do I have to take my client through?
The first step is you give to your client a quick questionnaire, which takes most people 2 to 3 minutes to fill in. But that quick questionnaire gives you insight into that investor's personality, their financial personality. There is then a 10 to 15 minute process of interactive questioning process that enables you to map out that person's current balance sheet and what they hold and their future plans and goals. And the rest is done for you. The system takes all that information, processes it, turns it into a guidance report that then gets fed back into the discussion that enables the humans to do what they do well.
So how would your solution support me in this journey helping my client?
Well, it's a fully digital solution. It can be completely integrated with your own advisory systems through API connections. As a client is engaging with it, it provides instantaneous feedback to that client that tells them something about themselves and plays back what we know about them. And then it provides instant outputs for the advisor to guide the advisor in their subsequent discussions with their clients.
Okay, so can you give me an example of how you would adjust your investment advice as well as the customer experience if you're dealing with an anxious client, for example?
Well, the first thing is that we know in advance whether each client is likely to be anxious or not, because the financial personality assessment tells us something about who is likely to be more jittery during various market movements. Once I know that, I can firstly construct the portfolio differently. I can pack the portfolio with different investments, ones that are specifically geared to give that person more comfort through the investment journey. Over the months, over the years, through my human interactions with them, I can change the message. I can start to prepare them for the inevitable times when the markets get volatile, for the inevitable times when their portfolio drops, so that when it happens, it's not a surprise to them. They know they are likely to be anxious, and they know that in advance, they have prepared themselves for that inevitable market drop. And then thirdly, when the actual drop happens, when something happens in the market, we come in on Monday morning and the FT is full of blaring red headlines about how everything's going southwards, the algorithms in the background are pinging every advisor and saying, this client, and that client, pick up the phone now to talk to them, because we know that they are the low composure clients. We know their portfolio has been dropping in the last week, and we know that they have logged in over the weekend to check the value of their portfolio, so they know it is dropping. So the systems there provide individually personalized guidance to every advisor for each one of their clients. Who do I talk to about what, and when do I talk to them about it?
Greg, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about this today.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you very much.